Hi, Monique. How,
Hello, Paul.
how are you?
It's 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 unfathomable how fast this week goes. It feels like yesterday I was just looking at you here on this show. It's amazing.
It is. Hi,
Yeah.
Emma. Emma's come into the studio already, so we know we're going live. Hi, guys. If you're coming in, please say a quick hello to us. But welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another week on Spiritual Talk. We've got another brilliant guest this week. Hi, Carol. Carol's coming to say hello as well. Uh, and yes, Monique. So, how's life over in Vancouver? Because a lot of people they watch our program, they don't realise that we are in two parts of the world.
Yeah, we were just talking to our guest about that. I'm
Yeah,
from Vancouver, BC, Canada, and Paul's from the UK. And yeah, this is a great, very, it's fascinating how if there's anything good to say about the pandemic, it's how technology has changed things, and
absolutely.
that the cool thing is how we work together virtually like this, and interview the guests, have them come in and interview them. So it's just terrific.
Yeah.
And here for a change, I don't know about what it is like where you are, but here we finally have sun,
I
which
was going to
is,
say it looks like
yeah,
lovely. I mean, it's 8 o'clock here in the UK, so nighttime. It's been a bit of a chilly day, but looking out the window, it looks beautiful.
yes, direct sunshine coming in here.
Yeah,
So shining right on my sketches. So later on when we get to work, there's the lighting's going to be pretty good.
yeah. And
Yeah.
hi, Sean. Sean's just said she's looking forward to tonight's guest, and we have another great guest, Monique, and we need to get him in. So tonight, everybody, you've probably seen the ads as well. We've been putting the ads out there, but tonight's guest is Jason Goldsworthy. He's a medium. He offers workshops, courses, and mentorship programs, and we'll talk more to Jason about that. But he's also worked alongside some of today's great mediums like Mavis, Pittilla, Kitty Wild. I saw her name, and I've actually been tutored by Kitty as well. She's a fabulous tutor. And Paul Jacobs as well. So some great names that Jason's worked alongside. So I guess you could say Jason's right up there. So let's get him in and bring him in. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Monique.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, everyone.
So
Thank you for
glad,
coming on. Yeah, sorry,
so
Monique.
glad, so glad to have you here. I just want to say that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for considering coming. This is wonderful.
No problem.
Apologies. Apologies for the lag as well. Sometimes being in different countries isn't always the best, and we get a little bit of lag and we end up talking over each other. So apologies for that. But yeah, thank you for coming on. One of the first questions we always ask our guests, because we are kind of limited for time. I know we've got an hour, but you'd be surprised how quick that goes. But one of the primary things we like to know about our guests is where did it all start for you, Jason? Where did you know, or when did you know you was a medium?
Yeah. First of all, when did I know I was a medium? I think I suspected I was a medium. I suspected I was different ever since I was a child, and I had
Yeah.
spirit in my bedroom waking me up. But I didn't know back then anything about mediumship, of course. But later in life, when my brother passed to the spirit world, it wasn't a medium that proved that the spirit world exists. It was my brother. So when he passed to the spirit world, I got the call that he'd passed, and before I knew it, I just felt someone behind me. I felt them put their arm around me, and I thought, this is strange. What's going on here? And before that, I just thought I was, I was very sensitive, but that's what I just put it down to sensitivity, being a high sensitive person. That's what I thought. But when he passed to the spirit world, he couldn't wait to let the cat out of the bag. He woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, ended up playing music through me, was wake me up inside by ever essence. And that just, opened me up. And I was like, what's going on? How can I understand this music? So when I told my sister about it, the amazing thing was she knew what the music was. And all of a sudden the energy dropped in me. So he woke me up to let me know what music he wanted playing at his funeral.
Ah.
He chose all this music for his funeral after he passed to the spirit world. So I knew something was up. I wasn't quite sure that I am now a medium, but I had to really, I was really just had to investigate what's going on with me. So I went to all these mediums and I'm asking what's wrong with me or what's going on with me.
Yeah.
And until I found a medium that could tell me, you've got a gift. That's what it is. And when I arrived in the Arthur Findlay for the first time, all of a sudden I had this feeling of coming home, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I thought, I'm meeting all these people that are also mediums, and I thought, I'm not alone. It was so good to find more people that were similar to me. But my first experience getting in contact, I went to a spiritual circle and someone said, "You're a fantastic medium." And I thought, am I? I thought I was coming here for a reading. I did. I thought a spiritual circle was a place where you got readings. So I arrived there. I'm going to get a reading today. And I got there. And then the guy that was running it said, "Right, Jason, you can go first." "What do you mean go first?" "Yeah, you're a good medium. You can do it." I said, "Do what?" And he said, "Just connect to the light and bring through everything you did." So I just started speaking, and I told her about her brother that was in spirit and this, that, and the other. And she looked at me like that, the mouth wide open. "How did you do that?" And I said, "I got no idea."
Yeah.
No idea. I knew I needed training after that. I couldn't be, I had the feeling it was just happening to me. It was like an awakening. So my brother nudged it. And that was like a domino effect that really just, opened up, full blown. Yeah, could communicate with spirit, and it just happened. And I was like, I need to find some real training here so that I can understand my gift. So that's what I did. Yeah, Arthur Findlay College and decent tutors. You mentioned a couple of them, like Paul Jacobs and maybe Pittilla, Jose Goskal. I wanted to learn from people that could really just let me know what's going on with this mediumship. Yeah.
So, sorry, I just know one thing that came in my head off the back of that. What sort of age was you when this happened for you?
I was only in my 30s. So about 30, 34, something like that. 34.
You've given your age away now. I thought he's only about 35 anyway, Jason. So now you're just giving your age away right there.
Yeah, no, I was like, but it's like 20 years have just flown by in 1 year, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an awakening. And I think everyone that comes into this, they have some sort of awakening. For me, it was like an ignition of spiritual energy. And I wasn't the same. I just knew that I had to research and find out more about this mediumship and had to learn to do it professionally, Yeah. So that was me. That was my awakening. So going to the Arthur Findlay College, I thought I signed my name down for the beginners group. And they said, right, they called all the beginners, and they're like, okay, and my name was there, Jason. And then all of a sudden they said, "No, Jason, sit down." And I thought, oh, why are they asking me to sit down? Maybe I'm going in the second beginners group. And all the beginners went to their group, and then I was called in to go into another group. And when I got there, I thought, oh, this must be the second beginners group. And I remember it very, very well. And there was Janet Parker there, and she said, "Jason, will you get that whiteboard and just put it on top of the stage here for me?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And I put it here. And when I got up on the stage, she said, "Right, while you're here, get us a link." And I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, the demonstration link." And I'm like, and everyone started laughing, and I was like, "I've never done that before." She said, "But you've got a connection with the spirit world, haven't you?" I said, "Yes." And that was the first time I was on a stage giving a contact for someone. And she had to guide me through it. But after that week, I was on stage, I think, more than 10 to 15 times. I just had to keep getting up. I don't know why. I just felt the spirit world was pushing me to do it. And it's just unfolded since then. It's just been unfolding. Yeah.
And you do feel that guidance from spirit, don't you? You feel compelled. I mean, did you have a feeling that you needed to do something? You were driven to move in a direction or do something after the awakening?
Yes, I felt there was a soul's calling. I told my wife about it. I said, "I've got this soul's calling. I need to be a medium." She said, "Can't you do football?" I said, "No." She thought, "Oh, it must be the midlife crisis or something, that I was going through." And I was like, "No, I just had this call. I had once my spirit and soul had touched mediumship, that was it. I needed to do more. I needed, and I knew it wasn't. It was something. If I was going to do it, I was going to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And so that's been my drive. And I guess once your soul is touched by the spirit world in such a way, and it's touched, something happens, something awakens, and then that soul rises, and then there's no going back. And I couldn't explain that to my wife at the time. I just said, I just got to do it. And she's like, yeah. It was like she'd suddenly found that there was something I was so enthusiastic in, and she couldn't say, no, you can't do that anymore. And so she learned to accept it, and I learned to just follow that guidance, that pathway, and that guidance that led me to the right tutors, the Arthur Findlay College, the different places that I've been to, and I've always followed guidance ever since then.
It's like bearing witness to miracles on a regular basis. That's how synchronicities and life unfolds after something like that, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And you've chosen the path of teaching, obviously. That's what you'd like to do. Yeah.
I have. I really, for me, I wanted to learn mediumship to the highest standard. And there was something within inside of me that said, I'm going to learn it, but I'm going to learn it so that I can help others that are going through the same sort of thing as me. And so I always had that intention of, if I'm going to learn it to such a high standard, I'm certainly going to pass this on to people so that they can be the best that they can be in their gifts of mediumship. And I found a lot of people that come into contact with me, they might be struggling with some aspects of their mediumship. And because I've trained myself so much, I can see that, and I'm like, oh, we just need to do a little bit of tweaking here. We just need to do a bit of this. And I seem to know what needs to be done just to help people work these little kinks out within their mediumship. And they may seem big for them, but it's so rewarding to see them suddenly have those aha moments. Oh, wow, that's how it works. Because it just reminds me of what I was like when I first had my awakening, you see.
Yes.
We just had a compliment from Leanne McDonald. Jason is a phenomenal teacher. He has helped me tremendously on my journey. That must be such a good feeling to know that you've not only have you had your own awakening, but you're passionate about your teaching. But when it comes back to you like that, it's such a wonderful thing. Because as much as it is about our own awakening, it's about all of us. Yeah. It's about everybody and helping everybody. And it's lovely to see your enthusiasm, because that's one thing I've noticed about you, Jason. We are friends on Facebook. And I'm going to say this, please don't take this the wrong way, but you come up on my Facebook all the time. YouTube clips, Facebook. It's great to see. And one thing that sticks out a mile, really, is your enthusiasm for what you do. That's really touching.
Thank you.
That's really touching. So to get comments like that from Leanne must be a wonderful thing for you.
It warms my heart, Paul. Really does. Warms my heart. Really does.
Yeah, I mean, as a young lady that recently is having a similar experience, that's starting to, well, she's had a guide connect with her, and it's blown her socks off, and it's lovely to see that unfolding in her and trying to help her with that as well. It's a wonderful feeling helping others. I mean, already we're having lots of questions. We haven't even put the banner up for questions. Lots of people are asking questions. Shall we just go straight to questions? Because there is, hopefully we can throw in a few more questions ourselves here. I'm sorry also, before I forget everybody, I want to send out our condolences from Spiritual Talk to Kaylee. She can't be here tonight. She lost her grandfather on Monday. So we send our deepest condolences to her and her family. So, okay, first one we have here was from Candy, I think. Okay, which you kind of touched on this already, Jason. What did you think and how did it feel with the first spirit appeared from you? Can I add a little bit onto that when it wasn't your brother? So that experience you had at Arthur Findlay, that is quite an unusual, I always think it's quite a special moment when spirit connects with you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So apart from my brother, that first moment when spirit connected, I think I was feeling like, oh, am I this? Can I do this? And there was all this nervous energy going through me. But I was lucky because I could see spirit, but I could also feel spirit. And I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. But it was also very exciting. So the first moment that they connected, it was like I was checking out the evidence, like we've been taught. You got to bring this evidence through. But back then, I was like just checking out, saying, "You mean you can take this? You mean you can understand this?" I was in amazement that what was actually coming out of my mouth, like I spoke about in that one circle with that lady. It's like, oh, you mean your brother really is in spirit? Yeah, okay, and he was doing this, yeah, and everything was correct. So I just know that was just an amazing, exciting experience for me. But I was very nervous when it first happened. I remember my heart going like this, 10 to the dozen. I'm like, oh, can I say this? And dare I say this? And I had to learn to deal with that, in the beginning.
So and I'm being nosy now, how did those around you take your choice of career path? How did your loved ones take that?
Well, my wife sort of put up with it. Put it that way. She's like, well, just let him get on with his hobby, let him have his, So I used to go to a week to the Alpha Finley, come back full of all this information, and she'd be like, okay. It was difficult for her because she was like, okay. And then we're just getting ready for bed, and then I say, oh, it's amazing, your grandmother's here, and she's like, what do you mean my grandmother's here? And she's like, and so you can imagine we weren't speaking after that. And I said, we're not having spirit world in the bedroom. I was like, okay. So I was actually, what we agreed on is not to talk about what I see or what I perceive. She wanted just to have normal conversations with me, which was really very grounding for me. And it must have been for her really shocking. It's like all of a sudden my husband's got all this sensitivity because it was like an awakening, and he's seeing all this spirit, and this is all going on. And then she's like, and it's something that she didn't understand. So we came to an agreement where we said, okay, let's not talk about that. So what I see or perceive, we didn't talk about. We only talk about what's going on in life. So that was her. Obviously, my children, they just accepted it. They were very accepting. They were also very high sensitive. But my family, where I come from, they're all Roman Catholic. They don't really believe in this sort of thing. Right. So there are some of my family, mentioning no names, that really don't speak to me about this and won't speak to me about this. So you see, my awakening really didn't fit in with that belief system of some of my family members. So you can imagine that was difficult. And as for my father, well, he was like, oh, you're speaking to the spirit world. Oh my God. He's an old Navy guy, everything's black and white, biologist. If I can't prove it with science, it's not there, And I keep trying to say, yeah, but it's been proved by science now. And he's like, no. So he's very black and white. One day he said to me, right, so have you still got connection then with the spirit world? I said, yeah. Have you ever had any connection from my dad? And I said, yeah. And so I managed, and I said, I started relaying what I remembered that I'd heard that spoke about him. And he really said, oh, that's actually correct. And we never spoke about it again, but it was just him suddenly having a little bit of acceptance there. So I had to really learn not to mention anything in family reunions or anything, or I had to learn to hold my excitement. Don't mention too much to the wife when I was going through my awakening. Don't mention too much to family. So it was really learning to fit in with this extraordinary gift.
Yeah, I can understand that. Going through it the same as I went through the same thing. And when you do meet people, like-minded people, it's like, I call it the ugly duckling syndrome. If you ever heard that story. So I'm trying to find, his species, and ends up realizing that he's a swan. So it's such a wonderful thing to finally meet people who can relate for that very reason. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Which is probably why the Arthur Findlay College is known for being a centre of excellence throughout the world. Because when I've been there on a course, it's like you feel normal.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by this normality, even though what
right.
you do is far from normal. But
Yeah.
you do feel normal. It's such a wonderful place. There's a lot of questions coming in. There's one here. I don't know if you can see this, Monique, from Sean.
What were the main things you learned that really helped you develop and awakening become stronger? So how did it become stronger?
Good question, Sean.
That's a good one. So for me, it was the most important thing I had to do. The moment that I had this awakening, I had to learn to ground. I was grounding myself like three times, 4 times a day, because it was like the energy was just lifting me off. So I really had to learn to ground, and the more grounded I was, the more I could have more clarity within my gift. Because when you're not well grounded, what you do is you get information. It's all very up in the air, and you can't translate it into grounded vocabulary. So when I grounded myself very strongly and had to practice it because I was totally not grounded, then I could translate it a lot clearly. But what ignited my development was sitting in the power. And when I first started my development, I was in a 3-year courses, and I was learning my mediumship with Jose Goskog in Holland, and Paul Jacobs was also very, very much in there as well. But I didn't. They said, well, you got to go away and practice your mediumship. Well, in my area, I didn't have any groups that I could practice with. We don't have Zoom. We don't have Zoom rooms. Internet was dial-up internet. You remember that? Beep, 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 and then it takes half an hour for your internet to start up. So there was no way of connecting people in that way. So what I did is I sat in the power every day for a year. And what I noticed within that year, just sitting in the power, I developed my demonstration techniques, the information I was getting from the spirit world, it all went amazingly well and very quickly. And people are like, my peers, they were like, wow, you must have practiced a lot. And I said, no, I just sat in the power. And they looked at me really strange. What do you mean you just sat in the power? I said, yeah, in the village that I'm living at, Lager, a small village just on the border of Holland. It's a religious village. They don't believe in this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I sort of I let people know, well, I do energy work, and I am spiritual, and it started getting more and more where I just started saying, okay, I now have them as far as, we know what Jason does, sort of. He does do demonstrations and stuff like that. So it's sort of like I've built it up a bit here, but back then there was nobody you can talk about it. You couldn't mention it. It was keep yourself to yourself. So all I could do was sit with the spirit world in the power, and that ignited my mediumship. I must say, I could say tenfold, but I'm sure it was more than that.
Wow.
I'm sure it was more than that. Yeah, and yeah, phenomenal.
That's a great tip for budding mediums, isn't it? That is sitting in the power meditation, and a lot of people don't always understand the different types of meditations, and it's worth, if you are a budding medium and developing, I would certainly look into different types of meditation. There's another question here from Carol Phillips. Was it more of a shock to the system being plunged into a high level to start with, or did you get overwhelmed by that? Did you feel overwhelmed with that, Jason?
It was overwhelming at times, because suddenly your sensitivity is a lot heightened. You're not used to it. You suddenly, and over that feeling of overwhelmed, it was like all of a sudden I normally went to my work and I was fine, but for a time I was a male nurse, and I ended up going to work, and my wife thought I was a hypochondriac, because at one time I come back, I've got a terrible knee ache, I've got all these heart pains, oh God, something wrong with my lungs. And I kept going to the doctors, and the doctors go, there's nothing wrong with him, sorry. My wife's looking at me with arms folded like this. But what I didn't realize, my sensitivity had got so much that whenever I went into a patient's room, I was picking up their their feelings of what was going on with them. So people with heart problems I was picking up, people with lung problems I was picking up, people with bad back. I think I thought my back went out at one time, went to the doctor, there's nothing wrong with your back. It was so intense. I really had to learn to deal with my sensitivity. So that's one part on that psychic part. On the mediumship part, it was overwhelming, the amount of energy and feelings that came through, and the flow of things that came through in the beginning. I had to learn to, like I said, grounding was good for me, and talking normal conversations with people, not always talking about spirit, helped just to balance things out.
Yeah. Also, I've noticed that you do have several YouTube recordings with you actually guiding a sitting in the power meditation, and that could come in useful for some of the guests, the audience here. There's more than one video I remember seeing.
Yeah, there's more than one video. I've got on my Jason Goldsworthy YouTube, I've got a playlist, The Power, and it's got a couple of me talking about the power, but also 3 ones. One is 5 minutes, one's 10 minutes, and one's 25 minutes for those that want to go on a bit longer in the power.
Perfect.
Is it worth? Oh, I just dropped. I was holding a crystal then. Sorry about that. I just dropped it. That's not good. Did you want to explain quickly, Jason, what in essence sitting in the power is for those at home that are wondering?
Well, there's many people do meditations about sitting in the power, or a guided sitting in the power. But really what it is, there's 2 parts for it. For me, I mean, some people will say they need to expand their energy and just become aware of the room, the energy, nature, and the world. And when they do that, that's how they empower themselves.
Yeah.
Or some people say they step into the power. But for me, it's like I go to the soul, so the solar round where the solar plexus is, and everyone's soul is in a different position. It might be here, it might be here, but wherever I feel that the most highest frequency of light in myself is, and that I just move that out into the room and experience the power of your own soul. And what that is, that power of your own soul is learning confidence in yourself. It's feeling the possibilities. It's opening the gifts of you are opening up. All those sort of things are opening up just with that first part of sitting in the power. And then I connect with the divine energy. So whatever anyone believes in, that divine energy. And once that connects, it's like a catalyst of energy that comes together. And then it's like an explosion of energy. That's how I perceive it. And that then is like charging you up. It's like, plugging your phone in to charge up. That's what's happening when you've got that divine energy in there. Now, there are some people that say you need to invite spirit in. I never sit with the spirit world. I only sit with the spirit world once a week when I'm doing my trance and I'm speaking to my guides. But when I'm sitting in the power, it's all about development. So it's empowering your own energy for development, to know the power of you, but then connecting to the divine energy and knowing the power and the energy of the divine. This practice actually made me believe more in a divine oneness that people call God than anything else, because it was an experience, you see.
Yes.
But if we break that down slightly, the word power in itself has different connotations to some people. And I think it's important that we dispel some myths, what it's not. The power itself, for some people, is like control. And it's not like that, is it?
No, it's a spiritual energy. It's really it is the divine within inside of ourselves. Which is a very soft. If you think the divine is at the frequency of unconditional love frequency, that's that frequency of that divine energy that we call the power, which is really just the ignition and awakening of that divine within ourselves.
It's almost a shame there's not a better word to describe it. Because that divinity, that, I mean, all 3 of us, I'm sure we've all sat in the power and felt that essence of that spark of divinity within us. In my interpretation, it's love, but it is, again, I want to say, that powerful love. It's like a love that you cannot almost fathom, if that makes sense for me.
It
But you
does.
can't get that across in any other way. So anybody listening at home, I would recommend you try that to develop. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sorry, we've gone on too much about one particular question, but I just think it's really important that as being the essence. There's a lot of people that talk about sitting in the power is a wonderful way of developing. I don't know if you can see this, Monique. There's a question from Emily.
Jason, have you ever experienced remote viewing?
I have. I actually did some remote viewing when I was a teenager. I used to experiment with a lot of things. I think most teenagers should be like reading, Spider-Man and stuff like that. And I was reading psych magazines, like how do you hypnotize yourself and how do you remote view. So I think that's when I had my first experience of it. Was I was reading magazine. I thought, oh, try this exercise. I never could check it out whether it was correct because I was just doing it on alone. But I did have an experience with remote viewing where we had somebody walking in a park where we didn't know they were walking in a park, and then we'd have to connect with them and see where they were and then write down our impressions of where they were. So that was a wonderful way of remote viewing, but it was an experiment that we did. And so that was one experience. Another experience was in a different class when I was working with someone, and we just went and remotely viewed somebody's house. And I've done that quite a few times. And that's a really good way of remote viewing and being able to learn remote viewing, because then you can say, oh, when you go in here, this is your kitchen, this is that. And that's a lovely way of remote viewing. Yeah.
Do you find within your mediumship, and I with mine, that I've been taken to the house where they've lived?
Yes.
Have you had that experience to give detail of their house and their memories? That's a form of remote viewing as well, isn't it? Or was that the memory of the person rather than it being a remote view? It's hard to say, isn't it?
It's a very good question. But what it is, it's when that moment when that happens, it's like your third eye is activated, and suddenly the spirit world come in and they move in with you, and you say, I'd really like to see your house. And it's like the spirit world travel with you to the old house. So it's like a smelting of two energies, and they travel with you. And then you go into the house and you just say, oh, just show me what you enjoyed in your house. And that's when it opens up. And that's really good, because at that moment, I'm getting excited now. That's where the clairvoyance suddenly goes into video form. They're not just pictures anymore. And that's a lovely awakening in somebody's gift.
It's almost like you're there.
Yeah.
In my experience, I can only speak from my own experience, but it's like you're really there, and you can the smells, the sounds. It's phenomenal. There's a great question from Nicola. I used to see spirit when I was younger. I also feel them, but lost my husband 3 years ago and haven't really felt them since. Any advice on opening up again?
Sit in the power, Nicola, and be gentle with yourself. Mediumship has a lot to do with us as people and our emotions. And if we've lost people, we could have the grief, you see. When we have the grief, what happens is our heart closes energetically, not completely, but energetically, to protect ourselves. So what happens is our sensitivity closes, and then we don't feel spirit anymore. And we may not see spirit anymore, because they're trying the spirit world know we need time to heal, and we need time to actually get through our feelings before they make a contact with us. What the spirit world do is they would never like to really upset you or in any way. So it's really learning, and what's good for you to move through this is not only to sit in the power, but just to breathe through the heart space, just to open it up a little bit more. That helps just shift out that energy a little bit more. And I found that's worked for me in the past. My sensitivity's normally stopped when I'm going through emotional stuff. And then I need to open it up again, and then it's okay. But you've got to remember, we're human beings, and when we go through stuff, it has an effect on our mediumship. It really does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great question. Thanks, Nicola. There's one here from Carol. I don't know if you can see us, Monique.
Carol, can you tell if people are going to be able to do some mediumship, or whatever purpose they should follow in in life by looking at them. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're a medium or not. Yeah.
I can see that and perceive that in people that come to me. I can see, okay, there's definitely a gift there, and I can see the possibilities. And I think mediums can say, I say possibilities. Like I could say, maybe I see the gift of mediumship, and I may see, there may be the chance to do something with it. But where that goes in the future is totally up to you. You see, and there are some mediums that make the mistake out there that say, "Oh, you've got this gift, and you should be doing that, and you should be doing healing," and they're just handing out gifts all the time. And I'm like, yeah, there's a talent there, but if you don't focus on it and give it 100% and make the choice to do that yourself and take personal responsibility over that gift, it's not going to expand or change anyway. But I can also see what if people have a certain talent. This is what they call a spiritual assessment. So if someone was coming for a reading with me, it would be a spiritual assessment. So basically you just assess their energy and soul and just see where is the movement of spirituality going with someone, where is someone's life going, and that's what it is. But yes, I can do that. Yeah.
Awesome. There's another question here from Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda. Is there anyone else in your family that has your gift?
In my immediate family, there are my children do, and it's quite funny because my daughter does have a quality of the gift, and my sons do as well. But they're like, when my daughter first noticed, she's like, I just want to be normal. You can be normal. So she has it, but she doesn't use it. So she's just normal. And it's the same with my other children. I believe, they need to people need to have a really grounded upbringing, and even if they've got a gift, to have that upbringing where they can have a normal life. I know some people might have a different philosophy about that, but I feel like we need to be able to, in the end, if we do choose to bring our gifts into the world, we need to be able to have lived in this world and experienced this world, not be completely brought up in like a spiritual way where everything's, because otherwise, how can we talk to people about problems in life, loss of stuff in businesses, relationships, and heartache if they've been brought up in everything's meant to be, so it is meant to be, So so I do have, my children do have that gift, and funny enough, over the years, my wife has the gift, and that was funny because before she admitted that she had it, it was I guess me opening up the way I did had a knock-on effect. Her father opened up, who is in his 70s now, and he would really got on so well with his mediumship, and he ended up demonstrating mediumship. He learned with me, and he went on to serve spiritual centers in this area, which I was very proud of. And then she was like, and all of a sudden she was like, she had her soul arised and she could believe in her gifts.
Oh, brilliant.
So it's been an opening up. In my other family, my sister does have a lot of talent and gift in her, but I believe mediumship gifts open when they are needed to be at the right time as they need to be. And with everyone, it's different. Yeah. So
brilliant. Stacey's made a comment. I'm just going to, hi Stacey, just going to quickly. She said she had an awakening after she had a near-death experience. That's quite common for a lot of people. I know, Monique, you follow a group, don't you? In America, I believe they're based, and so it really, what they call it off the top of my head, it's completely gone.
IANDS, IANDS, and they're worldwide actually.
Okay.
So, yes, and they help people who have experienced near-death experiences. So and they get to talk about them and to the public and with each other. So yes, and many of them come back with experiencing gifts, as we call them, mediumship, healing, so on and so forth. And it's fantastic to hear their stories. It really is.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, even if you've not had a near-death experience.
Yeah.
Sean, hi Sean. She's asked, what do you do to ground yourself daily? Is that something you consciously do every day, Jason, or is it, for me, it's just like go and have a cup of tea after I've done a reading?
Yeah,
Or something to eat?
yeah. In the beginning, I had to do it because I was not grounded, totally not grounded. I was, whenever you feel dizzy, for anyone that's feeling dizziness and feeling not quite there, grounding can help. But that's what I had to do 3 times a day because of the awakening in me was so strong. And nowadays, I just walk around in bare feet. And if you walk around in bare feet, you are aware that your feet get cold. You're aware of how your feet are on the ground.
That's true.
And with Zoom, you can't tell.
That's true.
Like, so it's like walking around in bare feet keeps your mind on your feet, and to be mindful of your feet. I mean, if you just think about your feet right now, your energy's going there to your feet straight away.
Yeah.
You're suddenly becoming aware of, hey, the energy's in my feet. So wherever your mind goes, that's where your energy goes. So there are different grounding techniques that you can do, but one of them is just, for me, just concentrating on the feet. How does it connect to the ground? I might breathe the energy in and out of the feet a few times, and that's basically it. Yeah.
Awesome. So, we've got so many questions. Because obviously Cody's not here, guys, I'm really sorry if I miss any. There's a big one coming in from Julie Alexander. Sorry, Jason, I've just covered your face. It's so big.
Okay.
I'll read it out quickly. Ready? I have always had a knowing since being a child. I was always predicted things and have been right. I'm going for a spiritual awakening now. I've started to see spirit, and I have ringing in my ears every so often, different ears. I have been told I'm an empath, healer, clairvoyant from different psychics and mediums. I've been told that the ringing is a download. How do I know what spirit angels are trying to say to me? How do I develop? And she's put apologies, I'm assuming, because she's run out of space for this very long message. Thank you, Julie.
There's a lot in that.
Yeah.
Basically, development, any sort of development, sitting in the power is first thing to do every day. Like I said, if you can do the grounding technique, sit in the power. You could check out my YouTube. There's a lot on there. I answer a lot of questions on mediumship.
You do, yeah.
So for that question, I'll say I've answered, I think, almost a question almost on everything on my YouTube channel. So just feel free to go and check that out there.
There's a great comment from Effie, actually. I just want to share that with you, Jason. She said, I love and appreciate the YouTube videos for sitting in the power. You have created them. One in a rush with those mini ones. Thank you, Jason. So
you're welcome.
That follows in there. Lovely. Thank you, Effie.
You're welcome. But as for how can you develop further, yeah, you can be told by mediums you've got a gift, but it's like it's them moving to develop further. I mean, I myself, I do put on courses, I do put on development circles, I do put on stuff. They fill up pretty quickly. But I do put those sort of things, and if not, there's my YouTube channel to give you some sort of idea. And if you have any questions, just ask me a question on YouTube, and I answer questions on YouTube. So that's my gift to the world.
I've got a question from Lou Cook. Hi, Lou. Hope you're well. And also a quick quote from Stacey. She said, "Why don't we call it sitting in the love?" I like that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. Can you see the one from Lou Cook, Monique? I think it's just
yes, very simple. How many guides do you have?
How many guides do I have? Well, I have to count them, you see. I don't think I know completely how many I have. I am aware of some, so I'm going to have to count them. So there's 6 that I know of at the moment, but there's more, but I know that they're there for different things, and you've got to remember with guides, some of them are there all the time, and some of them are there only when I do demonstrating mediumship. Some of them are only there when I do my trance work. Some of them are only there when I sit in a certain circle, and some of them are only there when I'm teaching and when I'm healing. So they do change. So completely to say what the number is, that there's a lot of them, and they don't always arrive at the same time. So I don't think it's the amount of guides. I think I see them as being the team to help with spirituality and mediumship. That's how I see it.
Carol's asked a question here. Thank you, Jason, for that. When you sit in the power, should it feel like part of you is trying to leave your body, like you have 4 hands, one set above the other?
No. No, shouldn't feel like that. If you do, it just means that you're shifting into your astral body a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You just really want to be aware of your feet. It's really, you just got to remember to be centered, and to stay centered within your body, because that's what it is. The experience and the power needs to be experienced in the body, in the aura, and in the room you're in. That's the best way. When you feel that you're drifting off, there needs a bit more grounding there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 2 questions. One from Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda again. Stacey again. One is quickly from Rhonda. What is remote viewing, please? And this is the thing, as mediums, we sit here and we talk about these terms. We don't always explain what remote viewing is.
Yeah.
So could you quickly explain that?
Remote viewing is basically the ability when a medium or someone that's trained with remote viewing close their eyes and can really travel to a different place and experience a different place as if they're there. So you could experience somebody's house, you could look around that house, or you could experience a different country, and you could experience it as if you were there. And it's like traveling. So you're basically traveling to a place, but it's all through the third eye, it's all through the vision, and it's experiencing a place through that vision, like it's a video. I think it's the quickest way of doing it.
Very well put. And Stacey's asked on the same thing. Have you ever remote viewed the spirit world?
Well, I wouldn't call that remote viewing. It's like I look now and again, and I think I've had different perceptions of the spirit world. Sometimes I've seen, like, it's a wonderful world sort of like picture, where it's like green grass, trees, and spirit world walking around having harmony. And sometimes I've just seen an energetic world of white. So it just depends on where I was within my lifetime. Like when I was younger, I saw it in the picture of the wonderful world when I was a child, but now I just see it as mostly as a world of light. And I just see it as light and clouds and that sort of thing. That's how it sort of looks for me. But it can be different. Sometimes I can be in a temple. That's how it feels like when I'm remote viewing it or looking at it. Sometimes I feel that I'm in a garden. It just depends on what I'm feeling at the time. I think really the spirit world, and that's the thing to note, the more that we look at it, we can't exactly explain it because we're looking at infinite, you see.
Yeah.
And I know people have talked about 7 layers and many, many layers of the spirit world and going up in frequency. And I have seen it like that, working like that. But I've seen it like interdimensional, as an interdimensional place in so many different frequencies that overlap each other. And if we were trying to explain it mathematically, I don't think we could.
Yeah.
The more I go, because I'm trying to explain it to myself, the more I look at it, it's just so complex, but yet it's all coordinated by divine energy. And I think that's probably about the easy way. So if you imagine, try explaining how the universe moves around each other without colliding, then I would say that's how the spiritual world moves around with its frequencies and energies as well. Yeah.
Which some people believe Van Gogh, the artist, the swirls in his paintings, that he was having slight out-of-body experiences. I find that very fascinating. I can't remember what drugs he was taking, but some people do believe there was a drug of the time, wasn't there? I can't think what it's called now, but they do believe that he was having out-of-body experiences. I remember visiting the Van Gogh exhibition, and a little voice said to me that he was having out-of-body experiences, and to have that confirmed was wonderful. So them swirls and the different levels. I sometimes wonder whether it's about human perception.
Yeah,
because we're having a very 3D reality experience, whether we just can't perceive that level of existence, almost to blow our minds to that point, if that makes sense.
exactly. How much can our mind really perceive at that moment in time? Like if we're narrow-minded, we might only perceive, a world of clouds. And then the more that we develop in our spirituality, the more our mind is bigger, the more that we may perceive a little bit more. I think it just depends on the experience. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Because literally we've got so many questions, Jason. I know we're tight for time. Can you tell me the importance of being spiritualized as someone developing their mediumship?
For me, mediumship is not just a gimmick. It's not just let me just show you what I can do. It's not just the show, and it can be very showy, mediumship, because really what you're doing is you're showing people the possibilities of what the spirit world can do.
Yeah,
I feel that spiritualizing your mediumship, it excels your mediumship, because when you spiritualize yourself in the way, like with that sitting in the power, and I was talking about the divine, mediumship without the divine element like in it, or that spiritual side in it, just feels cold and forced. And it wasn't until, I've always had this spiritual element to me, and in my life I've always looked at things from a spiritual point of view. But with my mediumship, I really needed to embrace that spiritualization of the mediumship and my development. And that is what brought me the most of my development and moving forward. But it's so important, because then you have a spiritualization and belief in mediumship that no one can take away from you. And if you're just doing it like for the job, for the work, it can become sterile, or even feel, very, bitty. And you think, oh, they're just doing it for themselves. And being spiritualized, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the spirit world, and you're doing it to be the best ambassador or the best communicator for the spirit world that you can be. And you're doing it to like help people heal within this lifetime, and that puts you in a more spiritual position, instead of saying, oh, just look at me and look at what I can do. That's not what it's about. Obviously we need to get the word out there, and people need to find us. But the spiritualized part is always being humble to know the spirit world chose us, to do this work. They chose us, and that is a great honor. That's a great honor to know that that's a choice,
I can't remember who quoted, many are called, only a few are chosen.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely resonates with that being spiritualized, being of service.
Yeah, it's that service.
Yeah. Sorry, Monique, you was about to say something.
No, I agree with every single thing that you say. And you were talking about how it all started for you. And once it's an experience. The experience is what gives you a personal relationship. And I was also born Roman Catholic, so never felt that personal relationship with a higher source until I was touched in the way that you were. I know that experience. And when you have that, there's no going back from that.
Exactly.
So because you can't unknow what you know now.
You can't.
No, and it changes your life forever.
Yeah.
For the better in my opinion. So because it's
But don't you think sometimes, and I'm not going to name names, I'm not here to criticize anybody, I'm not like that, but I think for all of us, sometimes it's good to remember why we do this.
Yes. Yeah.
And to remember that we are part of the greater good, and we're trying to be of service.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So sorry, another question from Tracy. I don't know if you can see this, Monique.
Could you tell us, since our old house and our new house, who is following us around, orbs, I guess they're seeing orbs, are always around, seems to follow my daughter?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind, and normally when it is orbs following around, it's normally our own loved ones, like grandparents or family and stuff like that. is to remember that those are the most attracted to the very joyful energy. So there's something to remember. Those orbs will certainly be family members wanting to join. That's what I'm aware of. When there's the most joy, then at a party or something, or a family reunion, that's when you normally get the most orbs on film. You think, isn't that nice? They've joined us for the festivities. That's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I've just had somebody recently ask me, what are orbs? So thank you for answering that. Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I've got a bit of a double about it, because before one of my children, my wife was pregnant, and we didn't know at the time. And before one of our children was born, there was an orb there. And when we took the picture, we could see a little baby in it. And we thought, that's really strange.
Wow.
Really strange. And we didn't know, but then we found out afterwards that she was pregnant. So it's like,
oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the most, mystifying thing that I'd seen. I thought, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Isn't it though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Question from Zander. Hello, Zander. Thank you for joining us. Great question from him. How do you build trust and confidence in mediumship?
Well, power remedies everything, which we'll call sitting in the love, or we could say listen to the music of the power of love by Huey Lewis. That might help. But so really that development moment helps build that confidence, and really to work on your self-awareness, because I think we as mediums and as developing mediums, we need to say, okay, how do I feel? Start to overcome your fears, start to do things that you normally wouldn't do. You might be a shy person, so you might need to really learn to not be shy. So then this is what I had to do with me, because before I stood up, and now I do demonstrations for many, many people on platform, but I never dare stand up in front of 8 people when they were asking, has anyone got a question that they'd like to ask in this meeting? And I was like, oh no, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to rock the boat. I'd never dare do it. So the little movements within your life build confidence, and that's how you can build it up. But within your mediumship, practice. If you can practice many, many times, that can help build confidence, especially when you're in a very good development group where you're being supported, and that would really help you with your mediumship and building confidence. But the thing is that we can't teach people confidence. We can create an atmosphere where people can learn confidence, and I have done things like confidence in mediumship for people, but it's really just giving people meditations, visualizations, and things that they can believe in themselves a little bit more. And when they stand up and do it, and they're like, oh, I believe. It's great to see a student do that. And then they go back and sit down. They're like, oh, I don't know if I can do it again. And it's learning to not listen to that negative mind talk.
Oh, yeah.
Push that to one side and believe more in yourself. It's a journey. So I wish you luck with that.
Honestly, there's so many questions coming in. I'm so sorry, Jason. I'm not sure we can get to all of them. We've almost run out of time. There's a couple of things I wanted to say to you as well, to let people know. There's a great interview with you on Spirited Talk that talks more about your personal life. Mm-hmm. And that's very interesting, because I have listened to that. So give that a look in, guys. It's well worth a listen. Also, I wanted to quickly share the screen of your website. Now, you do a mentorship program as well. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, the mentorship I put together, so wherever somebody is at within their development, I created it so that we can take them from where they're at to the next level in their development. And we've been talking about confidence. We've been talking about the power. We've been talking about these things. Basically, what I do is I share everything I know that I can to move the group to the next level of their development. And that's what I do with the mentoring. And I also have little private sessions with the group. So they'll be planned in for a half-hour moment with me, where I can look at them. They can have a spiritual assessment. So they've got that individuality with me. And it's just really good, because we have on the mentorships, we have international people, so you get to work with different people. And I basically guide the group to the next level of their mediumship. And we had a lovely lady on here earlier that did one of my mentorships, Leanne, and she flew through the mentorship. She loved it. And it's really fantastic to see students getting to that next level, enjoying their mediumship, because whenever the joy goes out of somebody's mediumship, normally they come to me and I just help them bring the joy back into it. That's what I've noticed. That sort of people come to me for that. Yeah.
And that's really important, isn't it? Because it should be a joy. You know,
Yeah.
you're touched by the essence that you know, when you get a contact of a relative loved one come through, it is a joy. It should be a joy to bring through. But as we live in this three-dimensional world, there's so many things to take us away from it.
Absolutely.
So it's a wonderful thing that people like you are around to help us back onto our path. Jason, I'm just going to be, there's so many questions. Can I just do a couple more? Would you mind?
Yeah, just do a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one from Emma. Can you see this one? I think it's a really great question.
How can you tell the difference between a spirit guide and someone's deceased loved one?
It's feelings and frequency. So if you're connecting to a spirit guide, you'll feel the frequency is higher. It's a higher frequency. Like I'm doing this with my fingers because that's how it feels to me. It's like, oh, that's a guide there. It feels very high, and it's got I'd say like a silver feeling frequency. That's how it feels. A guide. A loved one can feel like the emotions that you remember them by. So if it's your loved one, it may be the emotions that you remember them by. They also have a higher frequency than us. It's normally that frequency of love. So, but it feels to me, if it's a loved one, it's more closer. It feels closer, and it doesn't feel higher up in frequency.
Yeah, brilliant, great answer. Another one quickly from Liz. How does healing mediumship feel different from regular mediumship? I hope that is not a stupid question. Can I just say, Liz, no question is ever stupid, because I can guarantee if you've said it, somebody else is thinking about it. So no question is ever stupid. Thank you for your question.
So regular mediumship is bringing through loved ones and bringing through the evidence of survival of loved ones. So basically, when we speak about that, evidence can sound very scientific, but really it's bringing back through the memories of loved ones that people can say, yeah, I remember that. That's the memories that we used to spend together and we used to do that. So really it's bringing through that evidential from, hey, life continues. That's what it is. The healing mediumship is connecting really to the divine energy and becoming that medium of bringing through energy instead of bringing through messages, you see. So that mediumship bringing through divine energy that can help infuse somebody's body and move them to a much more positive frequency where healing can take place. And I say that because really, as a healing medium, you're bringing that energy, you present it to somebody's body. It's up to the body then to say, oh yes, I can use this, because that's the choice as well. But it's wonderful to experience those both those two. So it's not a difficult question. It's not a silly question. It's a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Goldsworthy, thank you so much for joining us. There's so many questions and people are asking to keep going, but we know it's because you're in Germany, aren't you? We didn't say that at the beginning. So you're already an hour ahead of us. So it must be nearer 10 o'clock where you are.
It is.
It's gone 10. Yeah.
It's a time that I need to wind down and really get myself relaxing so that I can sleep tonight. But yeah.
One more question, and it's from me, and I'm sure Monique would like to ask this question as well from both of us. What next for you, Jason?
What's next for me? I guess I'm always working on myself, even though I'm, a lot of people know me and I'm a teacher. I always work on myself to better myself. I'm always educating myself and overcoming my fears. At the moment, I'm trying to, one of my fears was actually writing. So I am writing now, and I'm answering, making essays and stuff like that. And because I like to keep my mind occupied.
Yeah.
But what will be next? I guess, for me, one of the most important things in my mediumship is to inspire people. So the more places that I can be and go to inspire people and to be an inspiration to people's lives, then I'm doing the job that I was put here to do. So I like to see things. What's next? I don't know. They say, you know, the world could be my oyster. We never know where the spirit will take me, but I always follow the guidance of spirit. I guess, you know, training, developing, moving forward. I sit in the power every day, by the way, so we never know. My guides communicate with me. You never know. Someone asked me, will you ever show your trance to people? I said, I don't know. You know, maybe, but I don't know. I like some things. I like to keep to the circle, you see. But
Well,
yeah,
it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this evening. Thanks for sharing the love and all the information that you brought through.
Thank you.
And the inspiration.
You've helped so many people tonight. It's been brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And if anyone's got any more questions they want to ask me, they can always pop onto the YouTube and throw the questions on there, and I don't mind answering them. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jason.
All right then.
Thank
all the best. Take care.
For having me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh no, I think I just cut him off right at the last second. Hold on, he's still there. Sorry, Jason, I cut you off.
Bye, everyone.
There we go.
Oh gosh, I cut him off right at the last second. It's the worst thing ever. We've also got a question, Monique, for ourselves, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Stephanie has asked us a question.
How do you see the spirit world?
In your perception, Monique, how do you see the spirit world?
I literally see them with my eyes closed. And that's how I start my spirit portraits. When I close my eyes and the intention is there to do mediumship, I can see them come in and out, their faces. And the one that stays the longest is typically the one I know I'm supposed to sketch first. So I'm a very clairvoyant visual medium, although my other senses are there. I hear, see, smell, taste, but seeing is very strong one for me.
Yeah.
And you, Paul?
Yeah. So I'm just trying to not lose my StreamYard link, which I might do because I've tried to. Sorry, apologies, guys. I'm trying to get the StreamYard link so I can post it. Yeah, for me, it's completely different. I've had several experiences with spirit where I've kind of traveled to. When you say kind of traveled, I've had guidance come to me through meditation. They've taken me on journeys. I've been quite lucky in that respect. It's been quite a visual experience for me. Yeah. And quite moving as well. I remember being shown a spirit, and it was a magnificent city of golden spheres and white light, and it was so magnificent. It's not that it was a visual thing. It was more the power and the love and the essence of it. The only way I can describe it is like going home. And I remember Spirit used to say quite a lot to me, of course, we all return home. And it wasn't until I had an out-of-body experience that I felt this going home, this unbelievable love as I went towards the white light. And there's nothing like it in this physical reality. So I've seen spirit in different ways. When a contact comes in for me, sometimes I can see them. I'm aware of their life around them and what they did, and they'll give me images, but it's not the same as actually going to having a visual or an idea of the spirit world per se. I also grew up with a lady that used to bring through her guide in trance, and she'd always talk about the music of the spheres. And I think Coldplay just brought an album out. It always reminds me of that whenever I hear it. And they talked about the music of the spheres and the high resonation and the vibration of the spirit world. So I guess it's a perception thing as well, living in such a dense reality that we can't quite perceive what it would be like in this physical reality. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Steph, is it can be limiting with our physical experience, if that makes sense. But we get a very strong sense of spirit around us. I hope that helps. Hope I'm not waffling. Now,
Now, I can say, too, that Paul and I have worked together for a while, and they say this in circles all the time. They try to keep the same people in the circles for as long as possible. Because
Monique, two seconds, mate. I might have to drop out to come back in to get the link to come in. So you're going to be on your own for a sec.
I will, and I'll talk about exactly what I'm. It actually creates a stronger link when you practice in circle as often, weekly, or as often as you like. And Paul and I have done this show for a while, and we've noticed it's quite uncanny how strongly we've linked over the last while. We pick up spirit, and we're on the opposite sides of the globe, so that's extra special. It's amazing. We literally will link to the same spirit at the same time immediately. So that's with practice, and that's what it takes. So
now that we've talked about our experiences with spirit and some of our experiences with the spirit world, should we try and bring someone through?
Yeah, we have to. Now we'll demonstrate to, put our. How do they put it? Practice what we're or
practice what you preach. Yeah. Okay,
so we'll do just that. I'll change the camera around. Bear with us.
We got some great comments coming in already. Zoe's put some great work. It's incredible. Thank you, Zoe.
Okay.
Sorry. Just gonna got that. If you're getting unwanted comments, don't worry, it's all been sorted. Okay, guys. We can't actually, hi Nicola, we can't actually choose. We have to go with the flow, what comes through. So guys, if you're watching, please send your love and connections towards us. Think about the person that you want to connect with, and we'll see what comes through. See who comes into mind. Okay. There's so much I still wanted to ask Jason as well tonight. It was a great interview. Always the flow. Well done. Yeah, absolutely, Nicola. Perfect. Okay, just going to kick on. Have you got anybody, Monique?
I do. As soon as I close my eyes, I see her.
Perfect.
This is. I'll just talk about her a little bit, and Paul will connect with her, I'm sure. First thing I see is a lady with seems like brown hair, large curls. She curled her hair, and it's full but short. And I would see her, I'm guessing, the era of time I'm seeing her is, she's laughing. She's got a wonderful laugh. Let me just see if I can see her again.
Is she stateside, Monique, or is she my side?
Let me see if I can feel her now.
Canada.
I'm feeling North America. Are you, Paul, picking her up?
Yeah, I don't feel she's Europe, definitely.
Yeah, I'm feeling North America. I'm just trying to get the relationship. Now, she didn't, I don't see her being elderly, older and gray, somebody who in their 80s, passed away in 80s and 90s. I'm feeling somebody I'm seeing her as maybe middle-aged, I would say, middle-aged. Okay, let's see. And I feel that when she did pass, because I'm feeling, things in I'm feeling emotions in my abdomen and my heart. You get this once in a while. I feel that it was a huge loss for her loved ones. Huge loss. Because A, she was young, and B, she was well loved. Okay, I'm going to start to draw her here. Paul, are you picking her up at all?
Yeah, I've got a connection with this lady. I do also feel this lady was diabetic. There was a problem with her sugar or insulin, insulin levels. She's talking about her problems because the diabetes affected her health.
Right.
How old do you feel she is? I'm not seeing her as being particularly old, Monique.
Oh, I'm saying middle. Well, I'm middle-aged. Paul, you're middle-aged.
Yeah.
around this, and I did hear, and don't let this name throw anybody off, but I heard Joy or Judith. Okay, so I just heard that. So I'll continue because I want to finish her.
Did you describe her hair? Because I can see her.
Yeah, she's got shorter hair. I'm going to draw her hair right now.
Yeah.
Full head of hair, curled. You know, like a short Farrah Fawcett style. If anybody knows Farrah, and I'm dating myself like Jason was, but yes, full. A woman that would use larger curlers in her hair.
Yeah, she's also talking about 3 siblings as well. Okay. See, interesting. I actually feel there's a mediumship level about her, the way she's talking. I believe that she was interested, or certainly a religious side to this lady. Definitely believed, had faith in God, definitely believed in that. Also, okay, it sounds like Sue or Sue as well, that connects into her.
Yeah, I am feeling several siblings as well.
Yeah. There's also some tragic circumstances around this lady as well, Monique.
That's why I'm feeling the devastation around her death. Unexpected.
Yeah, there was
devastation. Yeah.
There was definitely talk of diabetes, definitely a problem with her vision that caused her vision. But I want to go to North America with this. Or America with this. I'm definitely not in Europe, in this country. She's also trying to give me an April birthday as well that connects into her. And I've had this all day going round and round and round and round. I feel like I've had this contact in before or earlier. And she keeps giving me the 18th as well.
Now I'm drawing her with her mouth closed, but honestly, she was throwing her head back and laughing when I saw her.
I know there's family members in her family, like you said, you've got Catholic within your family. I know there would be. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a Methodist, but there's definitely a minister within the family. Also, the name Joy as well, she's trying to give me.
Yes, I just said that, Joy. So
did you? Oh, okay.
Joy. So there must be definitely that's a name.
Yeah. Now, the other thing, I don't feel that this is connected to someone in whoever's listening in here. Hopefully, everyone's listening in. I don't feel it's like a mother-daughter connection. I feel like it's
not. No.
I do feel like it's an aunt or a great aunt. Also, I also want to say the May as well. The name May, not the month, but the name May. She's trying to give me. Yeah, and for some reason she's trying to give me a sweet as well, and I think that's evidential. I think she would have, because I see her with a cardigan on. I don't know about you, Monique, how you see her. Mm-hmm. I see her wearing a cardigan. She's trying to give me. There would have been the odd sweet in her cardigan. She's trying to give me a sweet. I know. Okay, beautiful drawing. Okay, we're going to ask, throw it out to the audience. Does anybody recognize the drawing and the information that's coming through? I know there's some tragedy about this lady's passing. Okay, thinking exactly the same. Okay. Interesting that you're picking that up, Stephanie. I do feel, I don't know why I keep getting this, Monique. I keep seeing what looks like a car incident with this lady.
Oh my goodness. And I know you kick yourself every so often, Paul, when that happens, because I also got a car. And
but it was an unusual incident where I feel like it went off the road, the car went off the road.
Yes, I am picking up mediumistic qualities about this lady here.
Stephanie, that's disappointing. I thought you was becoming a medium then for the evening. That would have been good if you were picking up the message. Plan to the other person about the drawing. I see. Okay, well, and I'm also getting the name Jane that connects in here.
Is somebody picking up on the drawing?
No, nobody. So someone, we've had a few people leave, but that happens. Who am I drawn to? Very good question. Very good question. I'll have to scroll through. Actually, Effie, if you're asking that question, do you understand this? I don't think it's a direct relation to you. I feel it's like on the outside, like an aunt or a cousin.
That's right. It's not.
I also see her being quite dark-haired as well.
Yeah.
I also feel okay, my aunt is on the other side, but her name is Marina. No, it's not aunt. It's not her then. But would you understand the name Joy that connects as well? The name Joy, the names we've been giving, also the name Jane. And I know there's how I see this incident. You went into water.
I'm feeling rural community around.
No, that's not her. I do not understand. Yeah, that's not her then. Yeah, I do feel it's a rural community.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why I feel distant from this contact. I feel not from the contact, from the person it connects to. So I know this is over towards America. I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of a certain scene I've seen before. See, I can only see a few. When the comments come up, guys, on my page, I can only see a few. I'll have to scroll through to try and find who this is for. But it can be, once I go into my mind, it can put me off. It brings me present again. We had this last week, the last contact that we brought through, Monique. A lady was watching on a different platform and we couldn't see her on StreamYard. So she could take all the information, the picture and everything. So it could be another case of that. It happens. It's not a problem. It could also be someone that's about to watch on a preview. But she talks about diabetes, and I do feel there was a problem with her eyesight. And I'm not sure if that was the problem that she had. Like, what do they call that when people with diabetes? Is it a hypo?
Right, yes.
And I feel it's something to do with this incident.
Now, I also feel that this lady was on her own. I'm not feeling that she was necessarily married. Are you getting that?
Well, she's certainly on her own in the incident. Yeah, I can feel that about her. Yeah. I do feel she was married. Hi, Kaylee. Yeah, if not, we'll leave it and we'll do one more. If we can quickly do one more. If not, because I feel this, the way she's talking is if this connects on mother's side of the family.
Sorry, Kaylee saying that?
No, Kaylee's just saying lovely drawing, Monique.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, and she comes through at the age that I draw her here. I'm looking at her and stepping back and looking at it. And this is about the age that I saw her, head back, laughing. Okay, so not immediate direct relation. I'm feeling just a little bit further out from there. Okay.
Yeah, it could be an aunt, it could be a cousin equally, but I do feel it connects to mother's side of the family. Okay, we'll leave that in, guys. Not a problem. We'll go for another one, Monique, shall we?
All right.
Great drawing. We'll keep that. So if anyone's watching on catch up, let us know if you do believe this information is to you, and we'll send you the picture.
Yeah, that happens fair amount. Suddenly we'll get an email and photograph like last week.
I had one about 3 weeks ago. A lady was putting her son to bed, and she took the contact. So, okay, guys, let's do one more. We'll quickly do one more. Okay. Straight away, I want to come over to this side of the UK. I want to go. It feels more UK based. I already know that I've got a young man here because I can see the young man. I'm also aware that he died in tragic circumstances. Again, we've had a bit of tragedy tonight, haven't we, Monique?
Yes. I felt the mail right away, so I'm trying to see.
Yeah, I'm very aware of this tragic accident. But when they say when the way he's talking, I know it was more than an accident. It would have been self-inflicted, unfortunately. Okay, I keep hearing the name John that links to him, also the name David, and I know that this gentleman didn't make it into his 30s. He's talking to me. Great smile, good looking lad, great smile.
I'm seeing a fellow that's not unlike yourself physically, somebody who's average to slender build, dark hair. I don't know if you're seeing him or not.
Yeah, I am seeing him as good looking as well.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you how to draw. I know he would have had a sister. He's making me aware of a sister. And also people that were like sisters, friends, family, close here.
Now I'm getting a feeling of it as I draw, a gentle-natured fellow, kind of very gentle-natured young man, reserved, quiet, not necessarily outspoken, rash, or anything like this. Just a gentle-natured, almost a little bit of insecurity there. Are you feeling that?
Yeah.
And there were many people that loved this young man.
Yeah, I do feel there's a lot of family still here. This side is making me aware of that. I know he's trying to give me what I think his surname is Brown, but not his. I don't know how that connects into him, but he's trying to give me a surname of Brown.
Yes, I see him now.
Great hair as well, slicked hair.
Not old at all.
No. Yeah. I know this gentleman's sense of humor as well. But I want to call him a gent. No, he's not. He's a young man, very much a young man.
I'm feeling brother as I draw.
Well, I know grandmother's in spirit. He's making me aware of grandmother in spirit with him.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Also, also grandfather in spirit with him. They would have passed with one definitely with cancer. He's making me aware of. He's also okay. Okay, I'm not sure. I don't know why. Effie, Johnny was my cousin's son. He's on the other side. Monique described his character beautifully. He was bald, though, and young when he died. I'm not seeing the baldness. I'm seeing it. Would you understand that he had, it definitely had good hair at one point? Because okay, he had a big brother and a big family. There is no sister, and he did not die self-inflicted. Then, no, this isn't him. Because I do feel it was a car incident. I do feel that, Effie. I know he's talking about an uncle. He had hair at one time. But I know he's talking about an uncle. There is a car that I keep saying, like a souped-up car that I keep seeing as well. Nice car. It was a car rather than motorbikes. I don't see any motorbikes. He's not talking about motorbikes at all. He was more into cars. Died in the ambulance. He had hair at once. Okay. But would you understand him being really good looking, though, Effie?
In Paul's opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing this really great smile, great teeth, great smile, really kind of a radiant smile. I have a young man in spirit called Jonathan. He hung himself in his 20s. He had a sister, huge family, had dark hair, quite tall, nice smile. It was my husband's cousin. Okay, if you feel this, guys, if this is connecting to you, just if you want to jump in, please feel free.
That sounds about correct to me, actually, what you just read there. Because I almost wonder if it's suicide. I'm not.
I do. Yeah, I did. That's the only thing. I do feel this was suicide. Yeah. I'm going to share the link again. If you guys, if both of you want to come in, you're more than welcome. We can go through a process of elimination. That's good, Monique.
Is that what you're seeing, Paul?
Yeah.
Sweet fellow.
Yeah. Also, I do, strongly see a brown leather jacket as well. Show me, and I feel this is a point of evidence, if that resonates as well. He has young children. Okay.
In what we've done this before, almost feels like the James Dean kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
With this young man. Yeah. Dark hair. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling into this contact more and more. I do feel that he was on some kind of medication as well, whether that was from depression or not. I do feel this gentleman, the way he's communicating, is making me feel that it's a strange thing to say, but quietly depressed, if that makes sense. Never gave that impression that he had his own problems.
I do see the leather jacket now as well. As I get down to his shoulders, I can see that leather coat. Yeah. I used to wear leather jacket, bomber style.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There's talk of a brother, but I'm not sure if it's a real brother or like a friend brother. It keeps giving me this.
Yes, I heard brother as well.
Brother. Yeah, but it's like a friend. Thanks, guys, for interest. Thanks, Emma. Take care. Thanks for watching, guys. We're almost finished. I'm hoping these guys might be able to jump in. Julie, can you see the link to jump in on? Doesn't matter if you're in your PJs. We don't have to see you in your PJs.
He may have been suffering with a little bit of depression.
Yeah. The family think he must have been depressed as he hung himself. No signs. Absolutely. Definitely no signs. There is something about his car. I loved his car.
I feel there was many people that wanted to help him, that loved him and wanted to help him. But yeah. I feel that he was dealing with it on his own in many ways. So,
yeah.
Or trying to anyway.
Can you see the link, guys? I'm not sure what platform you're watching it from. No, it's gone quiet. Don't know. Not sure. I'm still not convinced. I'd like to hear your voice if you can come in. But it really helps us with the connection to connect with spirit. Keep getting the name John. Oh, great. You can see it. Okay. Can't see Julie's comments. Julie might be coming from a different page. I lost my brother by suicide. 29. Charmaine Gordon. Do you understand this then, Charmaine? Can you come in? I believe you're watching from Facebook. Can't see the link. Oh, it's driving me crazy. I'm so sorry, guys, if you can't see the link. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. It can be so frustrating, technology, sometimes. especially when you've got this lovely contact here. I'm pasting it one more time. You should be able to see it come up in the comments. If you just click on that, it'll bring you in.
I'm feeling there's a sister here.
Mm-hmm.
I suddenly felt sister wants to talk to you. All right, that might have been her. I'm not sure, but I just suddenly felt sister.
Okay, apparently comes through to Julie a lot. She's only met him 4 times. He wanted his family to know he was okay. My husband is called John, my cousin, his cousin, but we are separated now. Okay.
Yeah, I feel he had children. He was children.
My dad is called John as well.
Children.
Johnny, my cousin's son. Okay, Effie's ruled herself out. That's fine. It was very close to his sister, possibly Julie, and possibly Arlene. If you can jump in, guys, I know we've overrun time a little bit. If you can jump in, that would be great. Then we can give the message. And yeah, Julie, if you can see it, very young children. He was very close to his sister, but there is a brother link as well.
I heard him say brother.
Yeah, but it was the way he was talking as if like best friend stroke brother.
Okay. But I do feel a sister here. I feel it right now. I'm feeling very strongly in my abdomen. There must be a connection here. This lady that's talking about her brother.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that, Paul? Or
absolutely.
Yeah, I can feel it. It's like yes. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Hi, Sean. Yeah, it is. We're connecting. Both of us are connecting with the same person. It's brilliant. Even though we're probably about 1,000 miles apart, Monique. Oh, we had a stepsister also. Brilliant. Thank you. It's sounding more and more like this is to do with you, Julie. Do you recognize the picture? Yeah, we put people on the spot. And we appreciate people don't always want to come in. There's a lot of love for this gentleman that comes through here. He's also making me aware of this car that you had. Love this car. He keeps talking about this car.
I feel that perhaps I'm feeling others come in with him.
Yeah, I am. But I'm trying not to take my focus off him, Monique.
Yeah, I know.
It's difficult.
I'm not sure how clearly you can communicate with the recipient, but I'm almost feeling like there's a mother there. It's like mom is with him or something. Are you feeling?
Yeah,
that?
his mother was separated, but she never met her, but she could have had other children. Okay. We're just going to have to leave his love with you then, Julie. If anybody else can take that, please do let us know. We can send you the pictures. Yeah, I can feel a lady coming in. I can feel another gentleman that's coming in since he's been passed. I feel this is a father figure. I know there's a gentleman around that would have had a heart attack and so on and so on. But I'm trying to stay with this gentleman. Also, another name it keeps giving me the name Mike or Michael. If you can take that, Julie, the name Mike or Michael is trying to give me. Thank you, Candy. She says, fantastic drawings, Monique. Thank you. The picture looks too old. He was very tall and thin. Yeah, sometimes age-wise, it's difficult to draw a younger man, isn't it, Monique?
Sorry, she said the drawing is too old?
Yeah, it looks a little bit too old.
Oh, well, how old is she? Was she thinking?
Uncle Michael married to his cousin. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, she's taking the Michael. Yeah, I believe he didn't make it to 30. That's how I felt with him.
Yeah, I'm seeing somebody around that age. That's how he's presenting me to be here.
Yeah. Awesome.
Young guy that would wear a leather bomber jacket.
Yeah, there's a brown one. There's a
Yeah.
brown one. I believe there must be a picture. Also, the blue jeans as well that goes with it. He was in his 20s, about 23. That makes it, yeah, perfect. Okay. But can you take the car, though, Julie? Because he keeps talking about the pride for this car that he had. But we'll leave his love with you, Julie. Dominique, we're going to have to say goodbye. We've been going for ever and ever. I can take the mic on and as his friend. Okay, it's Charmaine coming in. Okay.
Oh, somebody is taking it after all.
Yeah, we've got to. It always happens. You'll get other people, and a delay on Facebook kills it a little bit because we're trying to hold the power. We're trying to keep the game. I don't know, but his dad was a mechanic, so he probably did have a car. Okay, great, fine, no problem. All right, guys. Thank you so much for working with us tonight. Shame that technology let us down a little bit. We'll work on that. We're always trying to improve. I managed to get myself a new camera, so I didn't freeze this week, Monique. I don't know if you noticed.
I noticed.
But no one noticed my new jacket, which I'm slightly disappointed.
Lovely.
I've worn the other blue jacket to death, and I thought I'd better treat myself to a new jacket. So
very sharp.
I would say I'm sponsored by who's a designer? No, I can't do that. I'm only joking. So yeah, awesome. Okay, guys, it's back next week. We have another fabulous guest. Did we want to give a little teaser tonight, Monique?
Well, this lady, I'll put it this way. She's going to do readings she'll be working. So that'll be interesting. She actually, Laura Lee is her name, from the United States, and she reads eyes. So I'm just going to say that much. So we'll have people coming in and having themselves a reading from this lovely lady.
So how should we do that, Monique? Ask for volunteers, get people to message us if they'd like to come in so we can get ready for the show next week. So if you'd like to take part in that, you'd like your eye read, whether I'm not sure how she does it, but it sounds fabulous.
Yeah. Well, she's going to explain that. So
it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yeah. Okay, everybody, it's time to say goodbye. We've been going for ages and ages. We don't outstay our welcome, and we'll see you again this time next week.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Take care. Bye. And bye, Monique. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Paul.